Today, we're going to talk about a story of just unbelievable courage from one of India's darkest days. It's a story that really boils down to a single promise a soldier made to his country and the ultimate price he paid to keep it. This is the story of Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan, the lion of Operation Black Tornado. Just let those words sink in for a moment. Don't come up, I'll handle them. I mean, can you imagine? These were the actual last words a commando radioed to his team. And this wasn't spoken in some quiet, calm moment. This was in the heat of a brutal firefight, with his life on the line. These words, they've become this incredible symbol of ultimate sacrifice and just unwavering resolve. So, let's set the scene. November 26th, 2008. The city of Mumbai is just trembling. It's under siege. You have people fleeing from the chaos, running from the terror, and then there's this one man, calmly walking towards it. He's moving against that tide of fear, because he had a duty to protect, a promise to his nation that he was going to keep. So that brings up the big question, right? Who was the man behind these unbelievably selfless words? The man who looked death right in the eye and simply refused to back down. Well, to really understand his sacrifice, we have to understand the life that led him to that moment.
Yeah, to understand the hero who made that ultimate sacrifice, we really need to understand the person first. His journey didn't just start on that fateful day in Mumbai. No, it began long before that, rooted in a dream he had as a kid.
All right, so let's go back. He was born in 1977, and Sandeep Unnikrishnan, well, he seemed to have patriotism just running through his veins. From a really young age, he was completely captivated by the Army's olive green uniform. And that passion, it would have eventually lead him to join the National Security Guard and become a Black Cat Commando. We're talking about India's most elite counterterrorism force. But here's what's so important to remember. Behind that uniform was a person who was just full of life. He wasn't just a soldier. He loved music. He cherished spending time with his friends, and he was known for always having a smile on his face. And that image of a joyful, young man, it stands in such powerful contrast to the intense, high-stakes world he chose to enter. And it was that world that called him to Mumbai. When terrorists seized the Taj Hotel, the NSG was deployed, and Major Sandeep, he was at the very front for us of the counter-assault. The mission was given a code name, Operation Black Tornado. Its objective was clear, but it was incredibly dangerous. Neutralize the attackers, and rescue the hundreds of hostages trapped inside the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel. I mean, the stakes just could not have been higher. Eyewitness accounts describe Major Sandeep leading his team with absolutely no fear. He moved through that hotel, clearing it floor by floor and engaging the enemy with a ferocity and focus that people compared to a lion on the hunt. But then, during this intense operation, the entire dynamic of the mission changed in a split second. And this is the moment that would define his legacy forever. Amidst a hail of bullets, a fellow commando was hit. And in that one moment, Major Sandeep's priority shifted completely. The safety of his men suddenly became just as critical as neutralizing the enemy. His actions were so swift, so decisive. First, he personally made sure his injured teammate was evacuated. But he didn't stop. He didn't retreat. Instead, he continued the charge, closing in on the attackers and cornering them, all by himself. He just kept fighting, drawing fire away from his team and right onto himself. He held his ground against overwhelming odds, fighting valiantly until his very last breath, making the ultimate sacrifice for his country and for his comrades. So, what does an extraordinary act like that teach us? Well, Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan's life and death really redefined what it means to be a hero, leaving behind a legacy that is just so powerful. His story really shows us that heroism isn't just about physical strength. It's about something so much deeper. A true hero is someone who, in a moment of crisis, puts the well-being of others before their own. That is the core of his legacy. The lesson from Major Sandeep's life is a timeless one. He showed the world that there is no higher calling than one's duty. That in the end, duty is greater than self. His story really pushes us to ask a fundamental question. While his sacrifice was on a national stage, those principles of selflessness and duty, they apply to all of us. It leaves us to wonder, what does it truly mean to be a hero, not just on the battlefield, but in our everyday lives?